What I find really touching in the way the HeForShe initiative grew within Danone is that it started from one person, Veranita, in Indonesia. She is a young, bright woman that had suffered a lot during her childhood, and she decided to speak up about it. And together with her mentor, Dietmar, it created a grassroots movement that was so loud after some time within the Danone community that it ended up the story being told here during the UN Week 2 years ago. So in many ways, I'm here sitting on behalf of all the Veranitas that are within Danone and beyond, and there are many. As a company that has a large early life nutrition business, we indeed decided that one concrete contribution we could make and one difference we could make would be about stepping up significantly the support that we bring to moms around giving birth. Because we all know, and I think in this room many of us would know, that we're losing part of the women talent in the organizations when a new child comes. It's a complete revolution. And so beyond the gender equal or gender neutral 18 weeks paid parental leave, we're also bringing prenatal support, postnatal support in the sense of work balance arrangements to make sure that women are coming back into work in an appropriate manner. We have committed that this new policy would be entirely rolled out in the world for 100,000 employees by 2020, which is 2 years from now. We've started already, so 1 year later, as you say, 9 countries from Egypt, Turkey, Australia, Singapore, the UK, Netherlands, Belgium, so a variety of countries have already implemented it. We have more than 10,000 of people within Danone that can access the support that it brings. And I'm very touched by the fact that it changes the conversations that we have about a much broader topic that's a big issue for the future, I think, of our companies, which is the work-life balance for many people beyond women. And that's really something that I think women has such a powerful message to share if we create the conditions under which we recognize the value that giving birth is bringing to a very, very wide community, including the colleagues.
One of the things that I've heard since, beginning my work is some people say, oh, paid parental leave is so fantastic, but it's so expensive. Or, oh, it's so great, but we can't, there's cultural differences, we can't do that. You at Danone are not making excuses, you're getting it done. So I'm just wondering, what would you say to the skeptics?
Well, I think it goes from the very simple thing that, as I just said, it changes conversations. Large companies in particular are fighting for talents and for attracting the millennials and the Gen Z into working with us for what we do. And that's a challenge because they have lots of opportunity to do something different. They have a completely different approach in terms of, yes, of course, as a job, I want the money to support my family, my friends, my livelihoods, but I want more. I want purpose. I want to understand why and how I can have an impact. And this parental leave is opening a conversation about why women long-term contribution in the company is so important. Again, what the role of children, families are in the company's business. And so it's a factor of attractiveness for our employee branding. It's as simple as that. In frankly, a world which is highly competitive for the best talents, and they include women. It's absolutely true that we're just handicapped by the lack of women that we have in business. We need much more than this. The second thing is that it can also renew the way we engage with consumers. In Mexico, one of our water brands, which is the leading water brand in the country, has been on gender equality for a long time, supporting the largest race event for women in the world every year, for instance. And they've decided to launch a special HeForShe packaging that we launched on the UN Women's Day this year. All the sales of that are donated through UN Women, by the way, for women empowerment programs in the 2017 areas that suffered in Mexico the earthquake. And it's a very simple, small, concrete example on how you engage a conversation that's different with your consumer base. And I would finish by saying for the bigger skeptics, if you see how China today is radically changing their child policy, realizing the huge consequences of the current situation, we have lots of employees, and we meet more and more moms that decide, would-be moms, sorry, that decide not to have a kid because it's financially a problem, because it's from a work problem, it is a problem, and they just choose to not even have one, but zero. So it creates huge issues if we are not addressing this, and I think companies can drive employer preference by making sure that we concretely address these topics.